Early 2024, I shared the idea with friends to close off the remaining main trails down in the southwest of Tasmania. We'd already completed the South Coast track back in 2014 and most of the Western Arthurs in 2018. This trip sees Mark and I coming in from Farmhouse Creek, hiking to Federation Peak along the Eastern Arthurs, the remainder of the Western Arthurs, and then down to Port Davey track. We also included some contingency days which we would use to complete all or part of the Southwest Cape coming out of Melaleuca and around. This would be used as our buffer due to weather, fatigue, or any other things that might slow us down. We dubbed this walk Closing the Loop, a little bit more catchy than Closing the U. Now at Junction Creek, we picked up our food drop that we placed the day before starting the hike. We would hike down the Port Davey track, crossing over Bathurst Harbour, and then on to Melaleuca. We planned for 4 days, and that will give us 2 spare days to hike some of the Southwest Cape, but that will depend again on weather and any other factors. Hopefully you enjoyed this third and last video in our hike down the southwest area of Tasmania.
There's more of the campsites down Junction Creek. We went past the toilet. They have a little sign there now, vacant or not. So, yeah. So you can sort of see there's a few little campsites around the area. So these might get a little bit wetter. Yeah, heaps of spots. So, but we did hear voices before, but we haven't seen them yet. So, here they are. Yeah. The lovely world of the mud, and this is part of Port Davey track. We're going to Scott's Dam from Junction Creek, so nice and slow trying to pick our way through it, and it's reasonably dry from what we remember, so this is a good version of the mud, if you want to call it that, so you get an idea of how wide people go trying to avoid it and gets worse and worse. So we're about 2 and a bit k's in, up Port Davey track toward the thing, and there's our food. So hanging still, no damage or anything. So just off the track, not far. Yeah, so resupplies worked well. So we can eat. Yay! So now we're leaving Junction Creek after lunch, and resupply. We went up and got our food, as you saw, and we've got about 10 k's out to Crossing River. So crossing camps out there. So go past where we go up for Western Arthurs, not this time, but where we have in the past, and then out onto the crossing plain, so out this way. Weather's looking, as you can see, terrible if you're up on the ranges, so not so bad where we are, so hopefully it stays reasonably dry. Some older duck boards out there on the way out to the junction that goes up the Western Arthurs. So from Junction Creek is about 2.5 k's. This part's not reasonably well trafficked, so a fair bit of mud at the start. Got a bit of this duck board stuff now. Track's reasonably well maintained, so apart from the muddy bits of course, but yeah, so 2.5 k's, nice and easy. After that's probably going to get a little bit sort of less travelled, so as most people head up the Arthurs. So yeah, so it's about 3 o'clock at the moment, so we're expecting to get into camp around that 6 o'clock mark tonight. So we're at the junction now for Western Arthurs and Port Davey. So as you can see, the track out to the Port Davey is not as well trafficked as a trail out to the Western Arthurs, so that's sort of what we expected. As you can see, the rain is back, which is really good because we wouldn't want to be hot, so it's quite pleasant out here in the rain to keep us nice and cool. So we'd like to thank the Tasmanian people for their weather. So there we are. So we've got about another 8 k's for the day, a bit under, well, about 8 k's, and we'll be at Crossing River, and that's it. Now we've just come over sort of a ridge line there that goes up to the Arthurs, and from the Arthur plain we've now crossed over to the crossing plain, so some different views for us. So haven't been over this side before, so yeah, so we're expecting another sort of, I know, 6.5-7 kilometres to go today around that. As you can see, the weather is tremendous. Yeah, but it's not that bad. So at least we're not up there like yesterday battling away. So there's a positive for you. So very quiet on this trail. Actually, the track hasn't been that bad. Some sort of muddy sections like this, little potholes and stuff like that. But given my boots and everything are totally wet anyway, it doesn't really matter. So it's all good. About 5:30, haven't got too much further, maybe a K, a bit more than K, and it's cleared a little bit. So there is the west end of the Western Arthurs. So as we look across now into the crossing plain, the track's actually been quite good. So a little bit of mud, but yeah, good. Can't be too much further, like I said, to Crossing Creek. I think it's the trees out the back there, so hopefully the rain stays away. We set up the camp while it's dry. Nice to get into the tent and out of the wet gear and dry off. Yeah, but as you can see, the wind's dropped a bit. So, but yeah, it's been a hard slog in the rain. So Crossing Creek. So you can see it's fairly up. So given that we're pretty wet, we might as well cross it today. So we're not going to be short of water today. So there we are, pretty much done for the day. I'm going to set up camp and get dry and get into the tent. It'll be nice. There we are. So the other campsite was a bit larger, probably a bit flatter, although these are quite nice. The only downside of these ones are the location to the river that comes up. So day 8, so it's Australia Day, so happy Australia Day. So it's now 9 o'clock. We ended up sleeping on the original side, so on the east side. The campsite was much better. So there's this campsite and there's also another campsite. They could fit a reasonable sized tent out the back there too. So yeah, this campsite was better, flatter. The other ones were a bit up and down, so we trumped back across the water. So we've just got across that this morning. We're off to the Lost World Plateau, so sounds pretty cool. We'll find a campsite in there, about an 18k day, so probably around that sort of 8 hours again. So not many k's for a lot of time. So expect a bit of open plain walking as well as sort of this sort of scrubbier walking when we get close to waterways. So we're following along the creek line most of the time, so in and out along that. So otherwise the weather, I can even see some blue sky up there. So the weather's looking a little bit better today. Supposedly the forecast a few days ago said no rain today. We'll probably wear most of our wet weather gear because the scrub is quite wet. So yeah, so day 8 off to the Lost World Plateau. Glorious day on the Port Davey track. So the weather's changed really well for us. So for today anyway, supposedly tomorrow rain again. So so we get a bit of respite from the being wet all the time. But the challenge today is, given yesterday all our boots and gear was wet, we were just walking through all those mud bits you would have just seen. Today we're skirting them a bit, trying to keep our feet a bit sort of dry. They're still wet because of the boots are wet and socks and all that, but not as, we're not lugging, a litre in each boot along. So yeah, but it's great to be able to see the view for a change and be in a t-shirt instead of being all in the wet weather gear. So yeah, hopefully it stays like this. So we're about 8 or so k's into today, and a couple more, about maybe around 2.5, 3 k's to watershed. Really got dense sort of foliage again, so a bit of a push through this sort of stuff up and down over trees, and bit of what do you call it, the sawgrass as well, which is always fun. So yeah, a lot slower at the moment, so we've lost our nice pretty track. At least it's not raining. So we're at Watershed Campground, nice flat area sort of in there, so did a couple of tents. Probably fit not really, that's sort of the main one that goes down to the water. So yeah, so not a bad campsite at Watershed, so still a lovely day. So we're out of Watershed Camp. We're actually climbing up a little bit at the moment, off to the Lost World Plateau. Got about 6 and a bit k's from Watershed to where we're thinking about camping. We're not going to push all the way through to Spring Creek. Today is too big a day, we're getting all fatigued, so yeah, so just keep going. Yeah, another 6, probably. It's about 2:30 at the moment, so probably about 4:30 when we get in. This part's nice and easy, as you can see, but there's a lot of bits where you get down into like trees like that down there, where you're pushing through mud, which makes it a bit more harder and challenging, so certainly fatiguing. Sort of onto the Lost World Plateau now, so that's the start of it, I believe, all down there. So lucky we're on this good track, which is following the contours around the mountains. Easy walking. Feet are a bit sore from being wet for so long, so that's probably the downside of this sort of more firmer track, and certainly the fatigue for what are we now, a week of really hard walking has sort of added up, I think. So yeah, I don't think too much further today. We're sort of about that 18k mark on the watch. We're 17, so another k, maybe k and a half or so, and we'll find camp. So, yeah, but as you can see, the day has been a great day weather-wise. Feet, lovely feet. Now hopefully we're into camp, so hopefully we can dry them off. Yeah, they're quite sore and sort of starting to crack a bit, so yeah, we'll dry them off, dry the boots off. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get a bit of dry walking. So it's a bit after 8 on day 8, so we're at just at a small campground at the start of the Lost World Plateau. Tomorrow we've got about 20-ish k's out to Farrell Point. We're at a small campground or campsite, so just big enough for us to sort of fit the 2-man tent on, so quite easily we've been able to dry all our stuff out, which would be good. My feet were suffering pretty bad at the end, so which is good. So tomorrow hopefully the weather is okay, but the forecast has it raining a bit, so we can see some lovely views still with the sun going down on the mountain. So very nice calm spot here. The wind is not doing too much. So that's it for day 8. So day 9, we're sort of on the Lost World Plateau at the moment, or just at the start of it. The day, it's still pretty early, we've packed up already, so 8 o'clock. We've got about 20 k's today, sort of through the Lost World. It's about 10 down to Spring River campsite, so about 10 there, and about 10 out to Farrell Point. And Farrell Point's where the boat crossing is. So late last night, or about 9:30, which is late for us, about 9:30, 3 young guys came through looking for camping right here as well. So they found another spot on the other side, but which is good because they're going the other way. So we know that there's at least one boat, because we don't believe there's anyone in front of us. So which is good. So we should be able to get a boat. So that sort of removes that fear of, someone's done the naughty and left all boats on one side. So So that's all looking good. So hopefully the weather stays non-raining. Last night yesterday we were able to dry all the socks, and the boots have been the boots and feet are dry for a change. So supposedly, based on weather from 3 or 4 days ago, it was meant to be about 27 today, so a warmer day and occasional shower, but we did have a shower overnight, so hopefully that's all good. So hopefully we stay dry and the feet get a bit of respite from all the slogging in wet boots, so which has been a bit sore. So as you can see, high cloud, lovely sort of morning, sun's starting to come up. So yeah, it should be a nice day for walking, given the wind as well to keep us cool. And this is the stream just near that campsite we were at last night. It's a beautiful little stream. Supposedly it goes down to a bit of a pool and then off to a little waterfall, but waterfall's a bit further around. We'll see whether we can see it. So yeah, nice healthy little creek. So we're on the Lost World Plateau, pretty easy walking. Again, we're on a nice track which is good for the feet. Beautiful views of rolling hills. So down in the gully down there is Spring River, so soon we'll drop down into that and cross over the river a couple of times and get out to where the campsite is, and then we'll be on off the old Port Davey track onto a bushwalker part of the Port Davey track down to Farrell Point where the boats are. So so far the weather's been good, getting a little bit warm. So we've just crossed a little stream and we hit what we understand in Chapman's book to be the very small campsite. So not a bad size. We could fit our tent, a 2-man tent on it. So, but that's about it. And sort of just off the side of the track, you can see we've come up that way. So yeah, so reasonably sheltered. So not a bad little spot for. It was about almost 5 k's from the last one. Still on the Lost World Plateau, as you can see. The track, apart from dropping down into creeks and getting a little bit sort of more bushier, is quite an easy walk. So as it skirts around the contours of the hills. So just come into Spring Creek now. So campsite here is about 1, 2, maybe 3. Even got a shovel. So nice not having to dig with the little trowel. So not a bad little spot. Not too sure if this is the actual official one or whether you have to go across the creek. But yeah, there's the nice bridge when the river is up. Pretty big river as well, so I wouldn't want to have to cross that. So yeah, Spring River. So the bridge over Spring River, a fancy construction. So must get up pretty high, so the water that is. So yeah, quite a nice bridge. First bit of real infrastructure we've seen for a few days, so yeah, really nice. So just after Spring River we went north and looped back around across this creek. So not really deep, well, not really deep at all. I took my boots off because trying to keep my feet dry. Mark just sort of scurried across the top, so nice little spot here. So yeah. So we're now on the way down to Farrell Point. Spring River is down there, and in the distance, way out there, which is about 12 k's now, we can see the harbour. So that's where we've got to get to. End of today, somewhere out that way. Maybe not particularly there, but somewhere around there. The track has been good. This is not the original Port Davey track. Something about the bushwalkers have cut this in to get down to Farrell Point. So really good. It's up high out of the scrubby wet stuff, so see how long that lasts for. But yeah, should it continues like this, it's relatively easy. So it's day whatever, forgot now, 8, 9. So on the way to Farrell Point, nice lunch spot here. We've been going up and down, sort of smashing through this bit of bush here. So not really hard, just slow, and a nice little quiet area out of the sun. So very pleasant. No platypus though. Oh, hang on, is that one? No, no platypus. So we're close to 15 k's. You certainly get a tent or two in this spot. Not an official campsite, but yeah. Well, official as in marked by Chapman, so nice little spot. Water might be the question here, so there we are. And the wind's picked up a little bit more, which, you know, in, I don't know, another 2-3 hours we'll be at Farrell Point where the boats are, so, or rowboats, so hopefully the wind, which we're planning to do tomorrow morning, hopefully the wind disappears, makes our rowing experience quite easy. But yeah, sort of another thing to consider. So we've just filled up, so we got 4 litres for tonight, and in the morning, just from a water hole there, had to filter it, it was pretty average. It doesn't really look like much of a campsite back there. Took a photo, not really sure if that's it, but that's the only one we passed, so pretty average if you wanted to stop there. So now we've got about 4 k's. The wind. It's getting a little bit darker, but only sort of said showers today. This track isn't too bad, but we think it's going to sort of skirt the hill ahead of us probably to the right side, hopefully, and not go whack over the top. So now our first sign of Farrell Point. I can't remember the other one. I think it's Joan Point on the other side. Don't quote me on that one. Getting there, I can also see some sort of boat harbouring in there, some hiding away from the wall wind. So yeah, you can sort of see the track. We're sort of down here now and sort of scurrying along out to the end, so it's getting closer. So we made it to Farrell Point around just on 6 o'clock or so. 22 k's for the day. Don't know how long that was, 7 hours or something like that. We didn't hurry or anything. We're pretty fatigued, so got a beautiful spot. So there's our tent, there's the water, lovely, big sort of grey now, so we're just getting it all set up before any rain comes, if it does. But yeah, good campsite here, quite large. There's another one back here, just next one back, second class campsite, that one without the water view. And then the third one sort of in here, a bit smaller, a bit more pokey, so decent size, so you get a fair few tents in. So yeah, I'm not sure about water here. There is supposedly a soak somewhere around. We did carry from the last sort of known water source about 4 k's back, so yeah, so not a bad spot to stop before we do the boat crossing tomorrow. So that's the end of whatever day it is, 9. Monday, so Tuesday tomorrow we're off to Melaleuca. Shortish sort of day, 13 kilometers up over the hill, but the boat journey as well, so we don't know how many boat journeys we have to do yet, so we'll have to wait and see till we walk around to the boats, which is probably about 500 meters. So yeah, that's it, day 9 done. So day 10, we're at Farrell Point. It's about almost 7 o'clock now, so we're hoping we get up and the weather was flat, no wind, but there's still the wind, a little bit of chop out there. We got to go across sort of that way to Joan Point, I think it is. We can see with our eyes a boat on the other side, so only one, so there's one on our side, maybe 2, so if we only got to do 1 crossing, not so bad. If we've got to come back, a bit harder. So we're going to have breakfast and then have a go crossing. Well, not have a go, we will cross. Last night, bit of rain, bit of wind again, but yeah, overall, beautiful spot to camp at Farrell Point. But we haven't found water, so make sure you bring water. So after a short little stint to get to where the boats are, there's no boat, right? And this is what is disgraceful by people, to leave boats on one side and not actually come back. So to whoever did that, it's just downright low and disgraceful, right? Do what's right. Now we've got to figure out how we get across, right? So not very good. Thank you very much, people. So now it's about 8:30 in the morning. It looks like we can clear, well, not clearly, but it does look like the 3 boats are on the other side, which really sucks balls and very disgraceful by the persons that did that, you know, not thinking about any other ones than themselves. They could have sat on the other side, camped on the other side and rode back the next day when the weather was a bit better, but no, they thought of themselves. Thank you very much. So what we're trying to do now is flag down that that yacht out there. Hopefully he can bring his dinghy across and give us a lift across. The other option is we thought we'd wait to 1 o'clock, a bit after 1, because the plane lands around 10, so if there's any walkers coming this way, we're expecting around 1 o'clock we'd see them. So after 1 we'll assess. At 1 o'clock we may even consider swimming across the 300 or so metres and then rowing back, so which would be a fun job. So rock, paper, scissors with Mark, so we'll see how we go with that one. So yeah, so we might have a nice cruisy morning, sitting around hoping, praying. It's now about 9:30, so we've been here for a bit over an hour. You know, we've been trying to flag the boat down, but you know, given the pretty crappy weather, you know, the yacht up the other end to come and help us, it might be sort of still in bed, you know, chilling out. So we're hoping later, you know, an hour or two, we might see us, or someone comes around by 1 o'clock, we're thinking. So we can certainly see the 3 boats over there. The other option is the swim, which I'm contemplating, but a bit scared for the second, probably the last third with the currents, but we can sort of, should be able to handle it. Temperature wise, it's not too bad in the water. Run a little drone with the gear in it, in bags and floating, so at least I have some buoyancy. There is no life jackets back in the box to go over in the boats. They're probably all on the other side. So yeah, bit of a pickle, but we'll work it out. You know, the best bet is we get the guy to come down and help us in the yacht, or someone comes. So third option is we swim. The other option is we wait another day as well before we go across, which we've got enough food for. So we've been monitoring the tide. It's now 10:15. The first stick's 8:30, the next one's about 9:30. So we understand the tide to be around 5 o'clock for high tide. So 11 o'clock, we're expecting that to be lower, a little bit more, and then probably start to come back in. So we're thinking around 12:30 would be the ideal time for the swim if we have to do that, because the tide will be on the turn and be the less amount of evil, and at least going inward away from the ocean, which is a positive thing. So I'm not going to visit Port Island or anything like that. So we'll keep trying to wave down the ship out there, so for him to come over and give us a beer and also take us across to the other side. But we're not overly hopeful for that. With regard to the walkers coming in today, given a Tuesday, it's probably highly unlikely we see anyone. So we're getting the dry bag ready for the swim. Mark's belt, some cordage. We'll tie a little sort of bag behind me. That'll have, it's got some warm clothes already in there just as a tester. I'll also put my wet weather gear in for the road back, my pants, my shirt as well. So yeah, it's now 11:10. So as you can see, the tide is still going out. We're expecting that almost to turn very soon. And then once it starts coming back in, we'll look at doing the swim. We're still trying to flag down the boat over there with no luck so far. So we had no luck signaling the boat or waiting for people to rock up. The tide has turned, it's on the turn now, so current wise it should be goodish. However, the chop is pretty big, which is going to be a pain. Got a little drone bag, little bag of clothes which I'll fill up with what I got, and I got a belt and we'll tie it on. Mark will stay here and be the anchor on this side so I can see, and then we'll paddle back. And as after I get dressed, of course, and nice and warm again. So a bit nervous, but we should be right. Kiddies, don't try this at home.
Here's Marty, looking pretty happy with the world. He's got his little bag on. He's got his ocean swim clock on, so he's happy with his Garmin. So yeah, he's about to embark into the water and commence his ocean swim.
Yep, stop.
Marty's off into the water. He reckons the water temperature's not too bad, which is interesting for down here in Tassie. But yeah, he seems pretty comfortable with it all, so that's great. So yeah, hopefully he's got no real dramas, so he should be off and racing. So there he goes. And yeah, bit of freestyle, so he should be not a problem, too easy. Marty's probably about 20-25% of the way across there, so he's doing fairly well. Check his navigation there. It's a bit choppy there, so it's a bit hard for him to see where he's heading. So far he's done pretty good out there. So yep, I reckon he's getting close to probably a third, and then he'll get a bit of wind assistance to push him back over to the landing. He looks like he's probably 75% of the way across there. Going to get a bit of wind assistance going back onto the promontory over there. So by and large he's doing very well. So his swimming ability is standing him in good stead. So success, Marty's made it. Yep. Job well done. He's on the rocks. Now he's just going to get out of the wind. So yeah, can't zoom in anymore. But yeah, hopefully he can pick up a bit of movement over there as he clambers out onto the rocks. Won't be much joy in this wind. Yeah, job well done. Bloody excellent actually. I've now got the boat in the water and is about to get organised and start rowing back. And start the shuttling of gear and the returning of boats to their rightful place. Probably means for old mate going to end up with about 4 rows across here due to that inexperienced person not leading a boat on this side. I didn't make it progress.
Stuck, yeah, come grab it. Yay. Back on the northern point at Farrell Point. Good to be on solid land. 3 more rowboats? 3 more rows, Mark.
Yep.
To get one back on this side, which should have been done originally. Here we are, crossing boat number 2. So we've got our gear this time. Mark's at the helm. All I can think about is Gilligan's Island at the moment. We're almost left the island after a few minutes. We're getting there, and now we've got the chop. So we've only got 2 more trips after this. It'll be much easier because the gear won't be in the boat, right? Supposedly. The next one's going to be challenging because we're going to bring one back. So all good. Out on the high seas at Bathurst Harbour. Still battling after a few minutes. And here we go for the waves, sideways. Whee! Hopefully we don't get seasick out here, eh? It is the sea too, so sort of the sea in the harbour. Should have brought a fishing line, maybe got something on the way through, eh? Next time. Now that is the type of boat we needed to cross across here. That would have been much nicer. So, hey Parks Tasmania, lift your game and get a couple of these. So much easier. So at the moment we're struggling to get the boats back, so we're going to wait for the tide to, well not the tide, the wind to drop a fair bit. So we'll hang around or come back tomorrow. Now 3:45, that other boat has got his little dinghy out sort of driving around, so I'm hoping he sort of comes over here and helps us out. I don't know whether he will or not. So we're being saved by Andrew and Dan. Fucking beautiful, man. They're towing our boat. Thanks guys. Thanks very much. depart Joan Point, thanks to Andrew and Dan helping us out. I think it was, pretty sure it was Andrew and Dan. Yeah, so we've now tied the boats up as good citizens and ready to ship out. So off to Melaleuca. So about 13 k's, given it's about 4 now, we'll probably be in sort of 7:30, 8 o'clock. So yeah, longest day. Haven't travelled far, probably about 800 metres from Farrell Point across to Joan Point. That's the harbour from Joan Point along the way a little bit. Still very windy. And then looking over the other side, so not from Joan Point. About the last hill we're going to go up and over, just straight ahead. So about 800 metres along the track, there's a sign here to get camp water for the beach camp. So the one we're at turned out down there, rock down there, so a little bit of a wander, about a K probably by the time we get there, so just being grab the water. So we're about 2 and a bit Ks, 2.5 Ks in, so still about another 10, so a fair bit of time still on the trail, so it's getting close to 5. So, but we did go up and over pretty much the last sort of climb. Not that it was huge or anything, 150, 200 metres or something like that. So that is good. Most of the rest of the walk is, as you can see, a bit of soppy stuff through the mud, of course. Wouldn't be Port Davey track without mud. That sort of this undulating stuff. So not sure. I'd have to look at the map whether we go straight ahead and turn or we turn over that way. So I will follow the nice little white brick road in the way and we'll get there. So it's going to be late night, or late, 8:30 or something like that. We'll get in, so hopefully a bit earlier, but we'll be at the lovely Melaleuca. So we're about 6 k's in, so about a bit over 6, 7 to go, and the first signs of Melaleuca ahead of us. Whoops, if I aim properly, the blue bit over there is Melaleuca Inlet, so there's a few more k's to that and then shoot up sort of that way, and that'll be Melaleuca, so that's good to see. So I think both Mark and I have had enough for the day, so long day waiting, pondering and doing stuff, yes. Bay Bridge, about 9 kilometres in from Joan Point. Good water, really flowing too, so it's nice since they're having to cross that. Bit wonky though, but yeah, nice to have it instead of having to clamber through water or mud. Bit over 9 k's in, Charlestown, so around that corner and up a little bit more we should be able to start to see the airstrip. Beautiful hills. The wind sort of dropped down I think more because of the hills, so Mount Rugby in the background where we'll cross from before we crossed over from Farrell to Joan. And then you can see the harbour, or the inlet I should say, to Melaleuca down there. So we'll it's running sort of parallel with us along this track. So about 20 past 7, got a few k's to go, maybe 2.5, 3 or something like that. So the track's been good and bad. Both Mark and I are pretty stuffed, so it'll be good to get in. We're hoping just to go into the hiker huts, to set up camp or anything like that, so which would be nice. So it's really got nice now, so late in the evening, so very little wind, nice temperature, so and beautiful surrounds. Look at that. So probably got about maybe an hour of sun left before it drops behind the hills there. So I think both of us are really looking forward to seeing Melaleuca and go, yes, Port Davey done. And there it is, Melaleuca F strip, and out the back there is sort of where our food drop will be and where we'll sleep for the night. So I don't know, maybe a K, yeah, something like that. So, but it's in sight, bloody excellent. And from what we understand, they've changed the bridge. It used to be a log sort of one. Looks like a fancy new one, very similar to one over at Spring River. So this is the Melaleuca Creek. So very nice. It goes out into the Melaleuca Inlet. So Okay, so not much further now, and hopefully it's like this. Be fantastic all the way into the into Melaleuca, but you never know. So it's just clicked on 8 o'clock, and we've just about to walk onto the airstrip, which is always an interesting one. So no doubt there's the sign for the Port Davey track. We can always say we're done that. So I reckon once we pretty much get here, so when you walk across, just look out for the planes. Melaleuca runway. We're sort of walking directly across, I suppose. So a few more days before we fly out, so probably see some planes come in tomorrow, maybe 1 or 2. They're always pretty cool on this one, so yeah, so I don't think there's any late flights coming in. So we're now at Melaleuca. We got in probably about 10 past 8 after a big day of sort of waiting and then doing stuff. So we're at the hut, so very nice hut here. And that's officially the end of the Port Davey track for us. So as you can see, very nice sort of hut. And we'll just sleep on these really large beds for a change. So not having to sleep on top of Mark in the 2-man tent. So, and not having to set the tent up. So officially that is closing the loop of Port Davey. Now it's bonus time. So we'll be off down to the beach. We'll see how far we get probably tomorrow. We'll see if it's tomorrow or the next day or whatever. So yeah, so Port Davey track completed. Yay, Mark. Give us a smile.
Big effort. With a nice rest at Melaleuca, we decided to hike down to New Harbour and chill out there for 2 days with a day trip out to Hidden Bay, and then we would hike back to Melaleuca, sleep there the night prior to flying back to Hobart.
So day 11, Melaleuca. So we had a nice comfortable sleep and eat in the second Bushwalkers Rangers hut. Charles King Memorial hut we didn't go into. Toilets, nice toilet, and even soap and things like that. So very, very comfortable. So last night, so and we're sort of, it's now 11:30, so we're really taking it easy. Looking to leave just after lunch, so we'll go for a wander around, have a look at the museum and the area around here. So we did meet the culprits for leaving the boat. No remorse whatsoever. They sort of said it was windy and we couldn't get across to get the boats back and stuff like that. So they took 2 boats across. And then decided to not worry about anyone else's hike. So very rude to even say sorry, mate. So it's a bit disappointing. But anyway, Melbourneites as well. So that just gives you an idea of some type of people. So anyway, the campground at Melaleuca. So plenty of room, a few big tents. First snake of the day, so hopefully last one we'll get him just before he disappears. So there he goes, still there sitting up, so just down near the water, down near the jetty. So yeah, nice one. So there we are, the jetty. We're not going to go actually any further, we'll leave him alone, so we'll go back up. Bye bye, Snakey. So day 11, we've just left Melaleuca after a wander around Melaleuca and look. It's about 2 o'clock or 1:45. We've decided to go to New Harbour and probably crash there for 2 nights. Have a look around that area. So not quite the Cape, but the Cape. So which is, as Mark's worried about leaving another loop unfinished, ready to come back another time. So nice day. Had a really cruisy morning, so no doubt the batteries are probably at 110% charge on both Mark's and my behalf, so we'll be flying down the 12Ks. South Coast track and the superhighway, so going Easy walking. Spoiling all those doing the south coast, eh? Wonder how long this will keep going for, but from memory it was a reasonably nice track all the way down anyway, so should be reasonable time to get down to New Harbour. I suppose once we turn off we're at the poorer side of the track maintenance area. So, yeah. So now we've made the turn off from the nicely and mostly boardwalked sort of south coast track for the part up to Melaleuca. As you can see, the track has changed back to what we sort of expect. Got about 6 k's to go to the campsite at New Harbour. We've run into two groups of bookers, a solo and a double, or duo, who also had been at New Harbour, so we were updated on the water conditions and stuff, so that's good. The first signs of New Harbour, so not too much longer to get down to the beach. Probably another K or so, so 20-25 minutes or so. Yeah, and then along the beach. Depending on the times, we might have to do a bit of wading across the estuary that comes in there, so we'll wait and find out. Very close to New Harbour now, so just on the descent down to the beach, you can hear the waves, or off and on, crashing in the background, which is always a good sign. So we can, I don't know whether you can see, but through there we can see the water. So then it'll be along the beach. So no more mud for a bit till we get to the campsite at the other end. So, and then it'll be done for the day. Nice sort of 4 hours-ish to get down here. So yeah, quite good. The first campsite at New Harbour. So sort of unreliable water sources, they say. Probably back upstream a bit. Yeah, there we are. Now we've got to cross down the beach for a bit further, about 2 k's. And now on to New Harbour. Flat ground, no sticks, no mud, or apart from wet sand. So how's that feel, Mark? A lot easier to walk? Yay. So now we're just going to cross this estuary. Might get a little wet and chug up to the other end of the beach and find the camp up there. So as you can see, very different. Sort of gives you a little pep in your step, hey? Yeah. So there we are, New Harbour. So we made it across the little estuary without having to take boots off, which makes it a bit easier. And there we are on the lovely New Harbour beach. A bit windy again. Beautiful rocks out the back there. Nice water. Just can't see where the flags are for the lifesavers, but anyway, they might have shut up shop for the day, eh? So yeah, I don't know how much further. I think it just might be up there where we've got to go to the camp, and then that will be it. And then all we have to do is chill a bit. Tomorrow probably chill a bit, and then walk back on Friday for the plane on Saturday. So that's it. Day 11 pretty much wrapped up. We'll show you the campsite when we get there. So here we are at the end of day 11, New Harbour, and the campsite here. So we've sort of found we're the only ones here. Big sort of area that you could, have a number of people stay, pick the different spots around. We're sort of setting up for dinner now. Water's just down there. We're filtering it just to be safe. And yeah, lovely sort of spot there with the tent. Mark's just setting up now. And then in the morning we can sit around here looking at the lovely beach. So good view. So there we are. End of day 11. Well, it's day 12. We're down at New Harbour. It's pretty early still. It's around just after 10 o'clock in the morning. We're still lying in bed. It's been raining off and on, pretty hard life. So we've got the cooker going, so we're boiling up some more water for breakfast in bed. We will get up soon, so but we're not going to do too much today. Wander around the beach. We're going to go across to Hidden Bay, about 4 k's away, have a look over there and then come back here and camp. So before our final night in the tent, I believe. Yeah, it'll be Thursday night in the tent, and then we'll wander back to Melaleuca. So we've even got some friends coming over here. I don't know if I've got the camera right, but we've got some leechies going, so which is always good. So as long as it's on the outside, it's not too bad. So that's it. Day, what did I say? 12. 12. This is the track around to Hidden Bay from New Harbour. So just wind our way through the lower scrub and slowly climbing up. So we'll climb up to the ridge and then sort of traverse along the headland out to a little bit of headland out to Hidden Bay. So a couple of k's. So I think it's reasonably sharp up and not so much down. So here we are. There it is, Hidden Beach. I think it's Hidden Beach, or Hidden Bay I should say. The track's been quite good, so sort of a lot of this stuff even better. There's boards down, bridges over the waterways. A bit scrambly when you go down through the foresty parts, but generally it's been good. So sort of hitting the ridge lines, staying out of all the mud. From my understanding, we come out there, over there at the dunes, and we'll be at Hidden Bay. There we are. So it's probably, what are we now? So it'll be about an hour and a half to get there. So from New Harbour. Rain's abated for a while, although still a few more clouds. About 15 mil or something today. So we'll see whether we get any more. And there we are, Hidden Bay. As we come out onto the sunny beach with a bit of blue sky, so good timing. So hopefully they've got the bar open around the corner, can have a nice refreshing beer, sit in the nice lounge chairs they've got there and look out over the water. So it is about 1 o'clock, so it should be open. Hidden Bay. To me, they all look the same half the time. So, you know, oh, this one's nicer than that one. To me, it looks similar. So, they all have waves, they all have water. Just different rocks out there. That's the outer rock that we could see from the New Harbour. And this one's got, I think it's called Middle Rock out there. Something like that, or Middle Point or something. Those rocks. So, but yeah, it's got sand, it's got scrubby sort of bush, it's got a little estuary coming in. Campsite, I believe, is up there. You can just see the buoys sort of in there. So that's where the campsite is on the other side. So yeah, so here we are at Hidden Beach. Well, we're back, so back to New Harbour. So it's a bit calmer today out there. So back to our campsite from Hidden Bay. Both trip out and trip back took about an hour and a half each time, about 4 k's. So nice little bay, small on this one. Campsite's not as good, so we did see a couple of people doing the Cape. So good luck to them. Out for about 6 days or something like that. So yeah, so that's pretty much as far as we'll get around the Cape, because now we're effectively just walking back tomorrow to Melaleuca. So we sleep there Friday night, so it makes it really easy to catch the flight early at 10 o'clock. So really cruisy last couple of days. I think we both needed it to recover. So yeah, there we are, back on whatever day it is to chill out. So day 13, we're at New Harbour. Lovely, drizzly morning. So today's pretty simple. We packed up for the tent, hopefully for the last time. Hopefully we're sleeping in the huts. And we've got 12 Ks back to Melaleuca. So yay, and pretty easy day. It's about 10:30, 11 o'clock, something like that, 10:30. So we should be in around the sort of 2 o'clock mark. And then yeah, it's just chill out time, and then tomorrow fly back. So that's pretty much it. Take a few pictures on the way back, but it's pretty much what you've seen, just in reverse. Yep. On the superhighway, once we've got 6 Ks out to the junction part, and then 6 Ks along the superhighway out to Melaleuca. So nice and easy. Day 13, Friday. Last day of the month.
Yeah.
So here we are at the junction of the South Cape track and South Coast track. We've just eaten our lunch. Pretty much before we jump on the highway to 6 Ks, zoom back to Melaleuca. Getting some power back into us. It's sort of a bit sunny. Trying to dry the fly a bit, but this is about it. We'll do a little video of it. You can see how many photos and other video we've taken on the way back. It's just the same track. Mark's sort of living the dream, chilling out without any leeches on him, and looking out across down to where people go on the South Coast track. So bit after 2, we're getting very close now to Melaleuca, so which would be the end of the walk. So yeah, so like I said, the walk back from where we had lunch is easy along this mostly duck board, probably at least 80% of different types of duck boards, all this sort of footpath type thing. So really easy walking, don't have to think about where you're placing your steps. So end of day 13, we're back at Melaleuca in the huts, or hut. Yeah, a few people around, what, 3, 4, 5 or so. Yeah, pretty easy walk today, back from where we were along the track as you saw. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock we fly out, so we've been eating our food, prepping for that, so looking forward to getting on the plane. Should be good.